Alright everybody, thank you for tuning in. My name is Anaris, and today we're going to watch the first game on my channel of the New Year's. This is going to be a Protoss versus Terran on the map Delta Quadrant. Already you can see who is in the game. We have inControL of Team Evil Geniuses. His opponent is QXC of Clan Root Gaming. Both of these players are on the North American server, and currently QXC is rated number 2 in the top 200. Number 1 overall in his division. His opponent, inControL, is actually ranked number 47 currently in the top 200, and number 9 in his division. Like I said, both players are from the North American server. And as far as the players themselves go, I actually had the opportunity to meet inControL during the midnight release party up here in Portland, Oregon for Starcraft 2. And he is a pretty cool guy, and he's also known to turn into a bear and maul gamers for his own amusement. That is actually a rumor that I am starting right now, basically just because I can. So you didn't hear it from me, but he secretly can turn into a bear. His opponent, QXC, actually both these players are pretty darn well known in the StarCraft 2 community and on Team Liquid. QXC is known for creating several maps meant to help players hone their skills, notably a build order tester. I know there's one called EMP Challenge, and there's another one where you have a blank stalker that has these extra abilities, and you basically just have to kill as many units as possible before you die. Pretty fun map. inControL, he's always hanging around Team Liquid. Both of these players have participated in tournaments, in the North American server, and yeah, so their names are pretty well known throughout the community, and so I'm pretty excited to see what these players are going to bring to the table today. This is Delta Quadrant, as I mentioned earlier, so this map does have some abusability features for, is that even a phrase? I don't even know, for both of these players. For example, right here, of course, with the expansion, you can place a pylon and warp in units over here at the backdoor expansion. And also, ledges right here, very vulnerable to Reapers, and also for drops, especially for Terran. Some nice siege tank positioning up here. And down here we can also see, once again, you can have a proxy pylon down here, warping units right to the back door, and in you go. This is one of the very few maps in the Blizzard rotation that does have a backdoor expansion, which you can see is blocked off by destructible rocks here. Another one being Jungle Basin. Shakura's Plateau to an extent, although that expansion is very contested, and Shakura's Plateau is now out of the ladder rotation. God rest its soul, it's such a good map, I loved it. Alright, so let's look at the strategies being employed here by the gamers. We have QXC capturing his second refinery right now as he is teching towards a factory. Might be seeing a 1-1-1 build. Looks like he is going to assume a defensive posture here at the top of the ramp with a bunker. Meanwhile, inControL currently sitting on a robotics facility, so we're probably going to see some kind of 2-gate robo build, given the fact that he already has the second geyser here built, and he's been working on it for a while, obviously. He does have the cybernetics core researching the warp gate technology and bringing in the robotics facility about the same time, actually. So he had that gas ready to go, and he's got 100 extra. So probably not going to see an early push just yet here. Might see an observer come out very soon, but other than that, we're not really going to see any major damage inflicted on QXC. Like I said, he is assuming a rather defensive position here, as he is getting his starport just about complete. He's already lifted off his factory, which did complete the tech lab right next to the starport. So I'm assuming that we're going to see some kind of Banshee play here. Banshees are actually very, very evil, nasty critters on this map. There's so much backspace behind the mineral lines that you can easily hide and just hit and run targets. There is a pylon right here already, so it is in position to drop down some cannons should inControL actually decide to go that route. Right now he is continuing to build up his forces over here. He does have an Immortal on the way. That'll be very good for dealing with whatever plan he decides to go with in the next few minutes, if it does involve trying to push through these defenses, which I don't think it will. But really, against Terran, Immortals are a very good thing to have. inControL currently taking out his destructible debris, might be looking to expand here in the near future. Like I said, this is one of the maps one of the very few maps with backdoor expansions. Pretty easy to defend. Of course, the other natural expansion out here, a little bit harder. It is very vulnerable. Of course, there's a ramp right here. There's an entryway right here and another ramp here. But still, it is very close to your main base. So we'll have to see what happens here as the game progresses. You can see that the Banshee is on the way. Now, at this point, inControL he is aware of what is going on down in the space, and he's not really bringing back the Observer. This is something I'm not necessarily sure why he is not doing that. You look, he does not have another Observer up here. He's not building one, and the instant that he saw the starport with the Tech Lab add-on, he really should have been thinking to himself, he's got to get that Observer back or something. He is currently boosting out one right now, so he will be fairly secure. This map, of course, is very long, so he may have just decided, heck with it, I'm just going to leave it down there. But we see that he is actually bringing it back here, so good decision. The Observer has completed, though. It is coming over here right now. Going to try to chase away that Banshee, which is indeed going out into the deep space area. Of course, deep space in this map is relative, but still, this mineral line is still fairly exposed to aerial assaults, which you can see inControL is moving his forces back here in a good position with the Observer to keep an eye on what's going on. His front is slightly vulnerable, and you can see that QXC is taking advantage of that, his SCV out here scouting. And I just want to point out very quickly here, something actually pointless and cool at the same time. If you look at the missiles here shooting from the Banshee, because of the fact that this building still has a shield up, the missiles are actually ricocheting off of the central part here and bouncing back out to the shield. Just a little interesting graphical thing there, as inControL does take control of the situation. Okay, look, I had to say it. Okay? It has to be done at least once per game with this guy. I mean, he's begging for it with the name. Okay? He just is. Okay. Now that I've got that out of my system, we've got the joke out of the way, we're good to go. QXC is taking this opportunity to expand, which I think is a very good decision. He has the Protoss player on the defensive here. inControL really isn't feeling that secure right now. He does have this expansion somewhat solidified. There's still no cannons back here able to detect anything or be ready for the initial harassment from Banshees, but a Banshee would be pretty hard-pressed to get in here undetected. He would have to fly over, he'd have to either fly over cloaked, or, just hope for the best and go in there. And I really don't think he'd be able to do a ton of damage, so good move staying out of that. At this point in the game, I do like the fact that inControL is watching the Zelnaga Watchtower here. This is a very important place to control on the map. As you can see, all 4 points of the, or all 4 bases do lead to this point in the map, so it's a heavily walked-on area. SCV Scout, as you can see, is heading that exactly right now. Might even be looking to take it as well. Now, we do have a Raven here. This is a nice addition to the Terran army. This will help out with the Stalkers. If he decides to do another Banshee push, having the point defense drones placed wherever he decides to do the harassment will really help in allowing the Banshees to have extra DPS time on whatever target they decide to go for. Of course, inControL up here is getting the Weapons 1 upgrade, and also has Psystorm just about complete. I cannot wait to see what he does with these Templars here. He is pretty good sometimes with the Psystorm, so I'm really looking forward to it. Also, this army is just begging for some feedback. We see that a couple of these units do have very high energy. Of course, this Raven is now able to be one-shot by feedback here. And a nice Psystorm or two will definitely soften up this army. So let's wait and see what inControL does here. He have a couple of High Templar, but they do not have energy yet. They have enough for feedback, but definitely not for Psystorm, as the area units are actually breaking away from the rest of QXC's army. He's keeping them here in the middle of the map, maybe to just kind of keep, inControL is aware of the fact that these are out here near his base, so he's probably just thinking, I'm going to keep them back far enough behind to where they're not actually going to be in danger of directly engaging inControl's forces while this attack commences. Or he may decide to use them to make a push on inControl's base when this attack is going to be taking place here, which is just a second. He's going to go for the High Templar Archives, taking it down right now as the Khydarian Amulet is being chrono boosted up. Instead of using the point defense drones, it looks like he's actually using these for the auto turrets. Kind of random positioning there, one of them being taken out by the photon cannon, but a very crucial target was destroyed. The Templar Archives is gone, and I think the Khydarian Amulet was completed just in the nick of time there. I'm actually going to check that in just a minute here. I do want to see what happens with these Banshees. They are able to take out the pylon, but there is another one powering this cannon. They were hoping to come in here and get some free kills. Cloaked, unfortunately, that will not be the case, as one of these is coming down here at very low hit points indeed. There is the Observer allowing inControL to see what happens here, and when these guys go cloaked, which they're probably not going to be able to do that for very long, because they have very, very little amount of energy at this point. You can see that the Templar Archives is being rebuilt. Oh man, he is trying to get some more kills, but whew, almost lost a Banshee there. Oh man, very close indeed. Very close. QXC looking to take this expansion down here, as once again he's going to come in here with the Banshees, try to get another probe kill. These guys don't have too many kills. Oh, that was a little bit of a waste of energy right there. I think it was a little bit of a miss micro. He is actually getting a couple probes. And actually, probably a good thing. Okay, now that was actually my bad. The reason he did that because he wanted to waste down the cloaks so the feedback would not actually damage the Banshees that much. That was just simply me paying attention to the minimap and quickly looking up and making a crappy decision here. I don't know if you guys have actually seen my New Year's video, but one of the things that I'm trying to do a little bit more in my cast is being a little bit more analytical, and just on the analytical side, that Banshee did not stand a chance, just a heads up. Now we have inControL coming over here, trying to make an attack, and it looks like he's actually split up his army. Very bad positioning here. This could not be worse, as he is forced to engage QXC's army, who have stemmed and now chasing away half of the army. He got so many free kills over there. That was completely unnecessary, splitting up the army like that. Oh man, now he's actually poised to lose his High Templar as well. That is so much money down the drain. Oh, he did not have to lose any of those forces. Oh man, that was certainly not a good thing to have for inControL to do here, but we'll see how he recuperates, as right now he is taking out the destructible debris at the high yield expansion. Now, this base actually has two high yields that are fairly close to the main base here. You can see that there are ramps leading down to each of them, so it may be wise to move his defenses up just a little bit so that way he can respond quickly to here as well as here, and be near the Xel'Naga watchtower. So this will give him kind of powered control over the middle of the map-ish. But it will leave this a little bit, not as well defended as it could be. But obviously a couple of High Templar placed back here with a few cannons can easily solve that. Only thing that would really break that at that point would be siege tanks up here, which so far we haven't really seen any indication of siege tanks being used. Let's actually take a look at, we can see there's an attack going on over here. Oh man, Psystorm actually taking place right here on top of the Banshees. Did not really do a ton of damage though. Look at that. It's not really the best positioning there for the Psystorm. You can see the little circles there at the bottom. One Psystorm took place just outside of the range of all of those Banshees. Of course, now is the time when you could really use a storm. All these Marines sitting right here at about half health. Well, that attack did not go very well. He was able to take out the command center, but I really think he could have done a lot more with the forces that he had. Just tried to burn that command center down. A couple Psystorms didn't go the way that inControL wanted them to, and that was about it for that attack. He is using this time, however, to build up his high yield expansion. Now, this will be instrumental in trying to catch him back up here, as right now he is definitely behind on the army count. We can see it was 91, now 99 compared to QXC's 128. He does have a healthy mixture of Marines and Marauders here. Still going with the Banshees, though. However, he is getting some Medivacs here. That'll definitely help out a lot. These poor Medivacs, however, don't have squat for energy, as they're having to come back and play catch-up here with the half-dead forces. QXC sending a scout over here, obviously doomed, as the cannons are now complete. Ton of probes just sitting around here. As we look at this base right now, it's fairly well defended. 4 High Templar here, and here comes the Terran player moving out across the map. He's got 3 Banshees here. One of them still needs to be repaired a little bit. Now, inControL is aware of the fact that this attack is taking place. I do want to point that out right now, as QXC is moving up towards the middle here. And even with this shroud, inControL is still able to see what's going on. This expansion looks still pretty undefended. Back of the base here, pretty vulnerable to drops. This is probably the most secure position at this point in the main base. And this is pretty close. Obviously, a drop back here would be pretty devastating. We'll have to see what happens, though, as right now QXC is loading up his 3 medevacs, already has them good to go, heading up to the top of the map where inControl's forces are. Will inControl see this? This is a very good question. QXC did see these forces and decided to move a little bit around, wanted to avoid the vision range of inControl there. Very good move. We'll see him moving into, looks like the, probably this expansion right here. This is pretty vulnerable. Question is if he's going to go for the probes or if he's just going to try to burn down the Nexus. We'll have to see here in just a minute. inControl, looks like, is aware of the situation as he is moving his forces back into his maze base right now. Here's the drop, and it is trying to focus down this cannon very first, and now going for the probes, taking out a lot of them. Here comes inControl Zealots charging through the front lines. A couple shots are getting taken on them as QXC is happy with his forces so far. One great Psystorm lands on top of a bunch of Marines, and inControl is able to force away this attack. And here the Marauders dropped at the top here. Will they be able to get any additional kills? No, probably not. There is an observer here, so... Oh, nice blink catch. Oh, man, good catch on the medevac, and the extra Marauders there was not able to salvage that attack at all. As right now... Oh, looks like we got a couple cloaked Banshees here just hanging out in the front of the base. And that appears to be the only attack that took place at that time. Was not a two-pronged attack or anything of that nature. QXC still happen to be pushing out infantry at this point, as right now we can see from the production tab there are 2 Colossi on the way. Now, there are already 4 of them here, so inControl is sitting in a fantastic position now, as QXC has battle cruisers. What in the world is going on here? This is not something you see very often whatsoever. He didn't even have the Yamato cannon. Of course, at this point, this is very interesting indeed. We are having the feedback land on the battlecruisers. This one right here has so much energy, begging to be destroyed by a feedback, and it looks like that's not going to happen as it does survive with 8 hit points. Zealots are definitely having their way with the SCVs coming down here, as the Colossi are actually doing a ton of damage, kind of unnecessary damage to the command centers here, which could have been lifted off, and this one could definitely not be burning right now. Of course, that expansion... was not the home of all these mules right here. This is a ton of income for QXC. Look at QXC's mineral count right now. 3,600 minerals. That is absurd, as we see a little bit of Marauder Micro here. Pretty classic stuff. He's just cutting around these Zealots, which do have the charge upgrade, so they are able to keep up. But will they be able to bust through this here? We can see one Zealot is very bored right now, just pacing back and forth, while inControl does try to reinforce this attack. Very nicely placed scan right here, coming down on top of inControl's reinforcements, as we see he is getting ready to expand as we speak. Also deciding to throw down a couple Stargates here, and I think those are right here in the back. He does have 3 of them right now, with Void Rays on the way. Direct counter to the battlecruisers. That'll be very interesting to see how this actually goes down. He does have air weapons level 1 on the way, so this might turn into a battlecruiser versus Void Ray fest. And also, Fleet Beacon is on the way. May even have a mothership here. I certainly do hope so, as we are now 25 minutes into this game. Let's just look at the units lost real quick. We can see that QXC has definitely suffered the greater of the in terms of losses, both economically and quantity-wise. And as far as the army size right now, inControl is definitely looking to be in a good position. 181 out of 200 compared to his opponent, 125 to 186. He is able to take this command center down right here. There was a mule repairing it. However, that is not going to be the case whatsoever, as this command center does fly away, burning. The Stalkers very easily able to take that expansion out, as QXC is actually looking to secure some additional resources up here, just behind inControl's line. If this isn't ballsy, I don't know what is, but at this point he's going to have to do something, and right now that something is coming up here with a bunch of Marines and Marauders taking out this expansion. Look at that fantastic stem and running micro. That expansion is gone, ladies and gentlemen. Cancel the rest of it and shut down. inControl moving back out towards the middle of the map here. He's done a pretty good job of holding the middle ever since that initial push, and pretty much this is just the roaming group of death on the map at this point. As right now QXC, you can see he has a lot of production facilities sitting on so much money. Look at this. He's almost, he's mined out a good bit of this high-yield expansion right here, as he's still focusing on the battlecruisers. Little does he know, Somewhere, yep, he does not know that's there at all. Somewhere hanging out here are a bunch of Void Rays. So those are going to be the party favors waiting for QXC here, as this expansion is now destroyed, was not even able to lift off. inControL at this point just trying to secure the map, make sure he is able to deny any sort of further expansions by QXC, who was actually moving out here with his forces. I'm not sure I entirely agree with this. He does still have 3k minerals and almost 800 gas. He could be sitting just a little bit longer, but he does have a couple ghosts here. He's going to try to land some fantastic EMPs. We'll watch the shields. There's one EMP right there, and a second one actually lands on top of it. Not the best positioning on that, as right now inControL is trying to bring in some Archons here, and you can see he's warping in so many units, forcing the GG from QXC and allowing inControL to take the game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, that wraps it up for this match. Like I said, my name is Anaris. I hope you did enjoy it. Trying to change up the pace and the kind of information in my casting lately, so make sure you leave feedback down in the comment box below. I know I did miss one or two fights there, and I actually... yeah, I will continue to work on that, and like I said, hope you guys had a good time, hope you had a good new year, and I will see you guys later. I'm out.